Hey everyone, and welcome to Anchor Watch. Before we get started, I never do this, but I wanted to do a big shout out to one of our amazing sponsors that I still haven't gotten to, but I'm sitting in it right now. It's called eWin Racing. This chair right here, it is an amazing gaming chair, but the quality is so nice, and I've been sitting in it for 2 months. I said, let me try it before I promote it, before I tell anyone about it. It is so nice. It's kind of like sitting in a memory foam mattress. The quality is great. It's got back support. It supports up to 400 pounds and up to 6'2" tall. All right. It is so nice. I just wanted to let you guys know, if you're looking for a new gaming chair, you're an editor, you sit in a chair in front of a computer all night long, all day long, like I do. This is really great. And we have a discount for you, 20% off by using Up Adam. Here's the chair. It is very nice. I am currently sitting in this lovely one. And now let's jump in to Anchor Watch. Why do I have the photo of the damn chair still up on the ding, 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 everyone. And look who we have joining us tonight. Bailey, who has their Anchor Watch merch.
Cheers. And I have a pink velvet chair, not a cool memory foam chair.
I'm telling you,
fuzzy pillow.
We don't promote much on Up and Adam. We don't try to like take on sponsors and do anything, but I said, send me the chair. Let me sit in it. I've been sitting in this for 2 months. I've been doing editing and I just feel like I'm floating on a cloud. Everything is so nice. And you know, like if you go to Staples and you like see those chairs for like $300, this one is way less than that. It is so nice. Like I sound like a salesperson, but I'm really being honest.
Well,
it's so
eWin,
nice.
If you're listening, I'm sitting on a 5-gallon paint bucket and a phone book. So send me something.
Interesting.
I've actually been wall sitting this entire time.
Bailey's core
just
is
sitting
incredible.
on a wall. I mean, I can't believe that Below Deck is over season 4. It's better than sitting on this. So I'm just gonna throw that out there really quickly. But guys, welcome to Anchor Watch, our late night Below Deck chat, where we take over Up and Adam's channel to discuss and recap Below Deck. I'm so glad we have Bailey joining us tonight. Bailey is part of the crowd that sometimes we jump in together, and there's like a big group of us who will sometimes recap the show together. So I'm glad. We'll have Natalie joining us in a little bit.
My wife.
You have a wife.
My wife.
My
wife. But before we get started, guys, too, I have a poll going in the live chat, and I just wanted to ask your opinion on this past season of Below Deck season 4, and rate it. You know, was it like amazing? Was it decent? Was it not so much? But Josh and Bailey, I have to ask, what did we think of season 4 of Below Deck Sailing?
This was one of my favorites for sure. Specifically, these last 2 episodes, this was the most drama we've seen all season. It just kind of like hit its peak with everything. And Gary was at the epicenter of it all, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I loved this season. I loved it. There's lots of people I really liked too, which is rare. I feel like I only liked 1 or 2 people. I liked like most of them.
Do you know, it took a minute for me to like grow on some people too, like some of the newbies. And I feel like Alicia was very consistent. I felt like I fell in love with Lucy, and that at the beginning, not so much. Even Mads, I didn't really love at the beginning. And then I was kind of like, I kind of like her. She's funny. But Josh, I want to know your thoughts on this, because this has been probably one of the best seasons of Below Deck we've seen in a minute.
Yeah, you know what? Even when certain cast members were acting very stupid this season, it was so entertaining, right? And like,
yes,
I think one thing that you and I have like talked about over the past couple years is like the stuff that aggravates us and like turns you off and just drives you nuts, those are usually the things that are the most entertaining when we stop and really admit it to ourselves. But yeah, and look, this is one of the only casts, and we've talked about this on past episodes, where you kind of have this core group that's been together for several seasons. And so I do think that adds to it, because we have a history with the captain. We have a history with the chief stew. We have a history with the lead deckhand. We have a history with the engineer. And so that's like almost half the crew is consistent from season to season. And so with it comes a familiarity, comes this, like I said, this history. And it totally played into this season. That history was a rich part of this season and the catalyst for feelings and emotions and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, take note, other franchises or other things in the franchise. I don't know how to say it, but
I have high hopes. Yes, exactly. Like, this past season of everything. But, we had the past season in Below Deck season 10. We had the Sandy and Lee kind of mix going on. Med was kind of fun to watch, Captain Sandy playing bumper cars, like pulling into the port every day. But like, I just feel like there is something special about sailing. There is something more, like we've said, more.
Well, hear me out for a second.
How do you say it? Yeah.
Hear me out for a second. Natalie and I, we moved our life up here to Oregon, and I started a new job. So, with it, well, now I've been at the job 5 years, but in these 5 years, like pretty much every time we go to any kind of social function, we're meeting people for the first time, and we have to go through those conversations, which are so annoying. Like, oh, what do you do? Where do you live? Blah, blah, blah. Like with everyone. And I'm so tired of saying that kind of stuff. And I think that's what kind of we get to avoid by having some of the same cast members. I don't like to do that with every season. Have to learn all but 2 cast members. Who is she? Where is she from? Who is he? What's he do? Like, I don't want to go through all that. I like knowing Daisy, and so I think, I don't know. I just, in a lot of ways, this formula sailing just works for me. And am I making sense, audience?
No, guys, I don't know how you're feeling in the live chat, but let us know. And then if you guys are part of the replay crew or listening in the podcast, let us know in the description below what you're thinking, because we always go back, we read the comments, we love the comments, and I am so excited. Below Deck Down Under season 2 is starting next week. We will be covering it.
I can't believe we already have another one. By the way, if you guys agree with me, your comment will go up every time. So just
just know, Josh is the algorithm of this chat room right now. Okay.
Right. Thank you, Elaine. Jason is wrong. Whatever he's wrong about, I agree with you. Thank you.
You know. Well, okay, let's jump into this episode really quick. Well, these 2 episodes, I guess, but they kind of melded into one the way I was watching it. I watched it on Peacock. I waited. I didn't watch it last night. I watched it today. I did the 2 45-minute kind of things back to back and get that hour and a half in instead of, going through 2 hours in commercials, right? But very interesting. We've had guests this season. And if we could go back and kind of recap the season really quickly, we had Parsifal not moving from the dock at all. We've had Colin save the day. We've had Gary get stuck with COVID and then come in, and we called it that he would be kind of the jealous alpha guy coming into a group of people who have already gotten to know each other. We've had Colin fix the boat. We've had
the boat
amazing.
Colin fix the boat break.
The anchor dragged. We've had a great season. We really have. We can
all agree that Colin gets the gold
MVP
medal. MVP. Like, this season would not have.
He would not have one. Yeah.
I also, what shocks me, when they do their tip meeting at the end, how they don't tip people extra sometimes. Like, people, if I were coming from the service business, if someone really helped me out, I'd tip them, be like, no, thank you, bartender. Like, you really helped me out tonight. Here's a little extra. But Colin literally saved multiple charters, and I'm shocked that that's not a thing. I've never seen that, and it's interesting to me.
Yeah, I know that their salaries, like whatever base salary, is different, but I do agree, with that tip being kind of left at the end. It's like, okay, do you want to give Colin an extra 20 because he just what did he do? He like got the water out of the thing. He blew it out of the
The water out.
he
With
blew
the
the water
straws.
out of the engine.
Going sucking and blowing.
You know, just doing
Saving the
everything
day.
you need to do to make it move, right? We did everything we needed to make it move. All right, guys. So we've had some pretty interesting guests. I want to say these were the best guests to finish off with.
Yeah.
Like, it just sucks because I feel like they've been over so many hurdles, and this was their last hurdle to get over. Where these guests, we had Brad, who is Ray's husband, and then we have Nick, who is Brad and Ray's boyfriend, and then we had Todd.
Wait, I thought Randy was part of the throuple.
Oh, Randy's the husband also. Randy. And Brad
Randy. Okay, so not
are-
Ray. Is there a Ray?
No, I think you're thinking Randy. I think.
Randy. Okay,
Randy.
so Brad is Randy's husband, and Nick is their boyfriend.
Mhm.
Okay, you hear how confusing that is, folks? That's why we don't do thruples.
Hold
Okay.
on. Let me bring up the Mamma Mia image so we can see clearly what we're dealing with here. Okay, there it is.
I
you
don't
ever
know what's
see
happening in the front of the boat.
Of the mom with the glasses when she was like being rescued by Alex and she was on that floaty thing. I love
What
her.
is happening? Like, what is going on? You know, like, you know, and even right before then, I want to get into them because I feel like, you know, we love our like demanding guests, right? And we thought our other guests from my community, the LGBTQIA plus community, the G I'm talking about specifically, and how you
Yeah.
represent the G,
Jason's part of
Some-
the hard G.
the hard G, the capital hard G, right? Who likes the D. I feel like how you represent our community can come off like either kind of great or not great. And then
Yeah.
when we had our other guests who had a great time, who we thought were gonna be kind of ferocious and you know demanding, turned out to be amazing and classy and really tasteful in the way they love the food. And now we have these guys who like look like they should be at a club till 4 a.m. competing like who's gonna have the last drink. It just
Jason-
kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Speaking of rubbing and wrong, Norma's panting over here about Grant. Do you have a photo of Grant? Which one is Grant?
Hold on, I don't have a specific photo of. Oh yes, I do. Here we go. Okay, Grant is the one to the right, second from the right.
Oh,
Does that
the
make sense?
huge muscle guy. Okay.
Muscle, yeah. There's words for that also in the G community, but we'll leave those for a separate conversation. All right.
Wait, now I need to know.
The Anchor Watch after hours.
You have okay. Apparently, I mean, I don't know. I'm just so traditional.
Oh, okay, he doesn't
But you
know
have-
anyways.
you
So at
have,
the
like,
last
the-
meeting. What did you say, Jason?
No, there's not like a G meeting. We don't have like a capital G meeting and talk about the D and the names and where we put ourselves in.
You live in
Um,
Florida, so if there's no G meeting in Florida, then there's no G meeting anywhere because that's where it would be.
Okay, he was
What
my
are the
favorite-
names?
He was my favorite guest. You guys were talking about the guy with the tattoos and the necklaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved him because he kind of seemed like he was going to be the most intense one, and I don't think he was. It was Randy. Randy was the wild card.
Yeah, he was like a
Yeah, that's the
biatch.
funny thing is like, yeah, I totally expected like, oh, this guy's gonna be intense. Here we go. He's gonna be wild. He turned out to be kind of the most chill, laid back kind of guy. I was like,
yeah.
And
I
I
don't
don't
know what.
I didn't get kind of what Randy was like all like butthurt about. I mean, yeah. But you know, like in the conversation, you know, I didn't get
you
what
know what?
was,
He
like,
was just
getting all
a bad drinker. He's a bad
Yeah,
drunk.
he was wasted. I'm like thinking of the amount of times that I've been mad about like the pizza being burnt or something at my husband. So I would give him a pass because although I think he was being a little
Where is he?
aggressive, I don't think it was as bad as Glenn was letting on. I mean, he was yelling, but I don't
aggro.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a more like you know, girl fight. Just calm
It was like
down,
pish
stay in your
posh.
room. Because they
Yeah.
actually did like he didn't actually like raise hands or anything. The only thing he did was a little over the line, but even then he was drunk, so you kind of excuse it. Is
Yeah.
going into his friend's room trying to talk it out, and it's like,
Just go.
and then his friend was kind of a little bit dramatic. Like,
Yes.
get out! You do not come in here. And it's like, all right, we all know we're on television right now, right?
You
So
know,
this is what-
it's
this is what
funny
we're doing.
because I really enjoyed, and I don't want to compare gays here, you know, but I did, and I did enjoy our last set of charter guests who were celebratory, and they just were so much fun. I just wanted to hang out with them.
they were like
And-
gentle.
These are
All of
like,
them.
have a drink, and then this comes out, and then this comes out, and I'm gonna and it's like, come on, like you are chartering a yacht, right? And how expensive is it to charter Parsifal 3? Very. Do you want to spend, like most of these guests, the entire time just obliterated? Or do you want to enjoy sailing? Because it's like, I don't think they knew when they were sailing. They were just like,
And
yes.
let's not forget, you have to be aware you're on television. Like,
Right.
that's part of the experience why these guys are doing it. They know they're going to be on camera. So it's like, I don't know. I would mind my P's and Q's. I'm like, I really limit my alcohol when, you know, even Jason, like performing and stuff. Like, I've never
Sure.
taken the stage drunk, like when I did stand up and stuff. I don't know. You gotta stay sharp. By the way, we have my favorite
Perfect.
guest.
So we have Natalie
on.
in the house. Oh, here we go. Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Welcome. I feel like this is like a reunion of sorts because, you know, it's always like us four and Greg who couldn't make it tonight, but, you know, recapping this show specifically. So we're glad to have you.
This is my favorite. I
Thanks
love
for joining.
sailing.
I know you
We
do.
were
So-
just talking about how great of a season was. And I just want to point out now I feel like kind of like we're representing the show. Like I'm Captain Glenn and I got the 3 interior girls. And
Who am I? Which interior girl am I? I want to know.
you're Mads. Let's face it. Let's be honest.
Young, pretty, and get it in the D. All right, I guess. Okay, I want to jump back because now we have Natalie here. We have another perspective, but I have been so disappointed in Gary because I think Josh, for the past like 3 seasons, or 2 seasons, we've been kind of raving about how he's this like work hard, play hard guy. Like he plays, he has fun, but he always turns it on when it comes to like the working situation and the working, you know, when he has to work, he works. Like we know that as performers. If we're not having a good day, we still have to get on stage and go, right? I didn't really love the conversation he was having that we saw at the beginning of the episode before the finale about talking about her time of month and how just
Oh, I was hoping
being-
I would miss this part of the conversation.
I just wanted to talk to you
Like,
about it because I
and then
think
you
like
bring it up
you
again.
and Bailey would be able to offer us like how as women watching this, it's kind of gross,
Oh,
right?
Ugh.
okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
we
very
think
gross.
what's gross? We think that like what Mads did's gross, or we think that
Well, Mads,
100% Greg is
Gary.
Gary. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
no, he's not a Greg.
Gary is gross. 100%. Yeah. Asking that, thank you. That guy.
Yeah. Okay,
Asking
I
in
agree.
front of other people and like, I don't know, confronting her as though she did something wrong and bringing in like intimate details of what they do in bed. This shot of him grinning like an idiot is perfect. Yeah. True.
Yeah, it's
After seeing
unfortunate,
that,
but
it's so unfortunate. I like after seeing that scene, I was like, no, I'm done with Gary. Like he's a little Weasley rat. That is the most immature, petty thing I have ever seen.
It's the cringiest thing we've ever seen on Below Deck.
yeah.
That bothered me. It bothered me a lot. I was like,
Yeah,
so
I didn't want to put you ladies on the spot, but I've seen a lot of
No.
comments. I even saw in the chat earlier that we had people who are like, I'm not watching this again if Gary's on it. And I just think like
Whoa.
the fun has gotten kind of he's kind of crossed the line in what fun
Yeah.
is into reality TV, into narcissism, into, you know, being a
just
kind of a
toxic.
douche.
So
Yeah.
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 I
It's
feel like
sad.
it was dialed up a lot this season.
And-
In so many ways. Like so all of his relationships, he was the bad guy. He was the one in the wrong. Like he did Colin wrong. He did Daisy wrong. He did Mads wrong. Like where did he come up in a positive light? No, nowhere.
Nowhere. And Josh, did I not say that when the cast or the crew was on their first charter that didn't leave the dock, when they were all getting to know each other, that whole alpha male thing would kick in, like, I'm the guy, I'm Gary, I'm here. And it's like he lost from the get-go, right? Like
Yeah.
from the gates, he was just kind of like behind.
Okay,
And he was just
I was gonna say before I comment on this, do you all see how much richer it is because we know him so well? I think like
Yeah.
we need more consistent crew members like this, because this is so with him, we know him so well. We know how great he can be, like in a fun, playful, like, oh geez, that's Gary kind of way. But this is like, I think a couple things. One, we talked about it before. I think he's getting a little too comfortable being Gary, the guy from the TV show. I think that's gone a little to his head. I think also he's getting older, and I think he's starting to feel that, oh, it's not fun to just sleep around. Like, I actually want a relationship. And even if he's not ready for it, I think he's feeling the inklings. Like, I should be going down that path and quit being the party guy.
Yeah.
Being the sushi guy.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a couple of those things all coming together. And then, yeah, he was obviously totally insecure because the other long-haired guy that's like his whole
Alex.
shtick was like better looking than him. So he was like,
I think
like,
that's
that's my thing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so,
you know, I have to say, you know, so I have to ask a question. Has Gary crossed the line too much, or is Gary like the mess that you need in this cast?
He needs a redemption arc. I'm in it
Yeah.
for the next season. He will redeem himself.
Yep.
So
I
you
think
would
you're
want
gonna
him
have a
back,
humble
though.
Gary. I think you're gonna have a humble Gary next season. I think he's gonna watch this and go, "Oh, I look like such an idiot," and then I think he's gonna come back.
I'm
He
over
might-
Gary. I'm over Gary. But the only thing I want to thank Gary for is when I look back at the season, like he was at the epicenter of drama. He was like where it all stemmed from with Daisy and like with the boys and the interior crew. Like he was the drama. So when you take him out of the equation, like what was left with this season? So I appreciate that, but I feel like there's more drama that could be had with someone new. I'm kind of over him.
Well,
or maybe
yeah.
put him somewhere else on a different deck with like.
Well, we're over you, Bailey. You're off the show.
Well, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. Like, does Gary contribute enough? Is he the drama that we actually need for the rest of the cast to also work around? You know, is he like the middle of the tornado where everything's just like kind of chaos around him, or could we do without Gary? I have a spoiler already, but I don't want to say it. But I think he's already. I think he's already
Norma
filmed
loves Gary.
next season.
Norma is a Gary OG lover. I do remember this.
Yeah. I mean, what would we do without Gary? I mean, honestly, the sailing, I love the sailing aspect of the sailing season, but I also think a big part of why I enjoy below deck sailing is because of the consistency of the crew. You've got Glenn, Gary, Colin, Daisy. Those are the anchors. And, you know, you swap out a couple stews, couple deckhands, the chef, but we know Glenn. We've got the little like bits about Glenn doing goofy things while everyone's out partying. We know what to expect from Daisy, what to expect from Colin. We knew to expect this from Gary, honestly. This is just Gary's like 110% of Gary.
Right. And we saw Gary kind of get in the middle of his own team, Alex and Chase, this season, and they have come to their senses on who Gary is. I think they said, foolish man. Wait, I think I wrote down a whole bunch of things of what Alex called him. But if I can find it in my little notes. But anyways, it doesn't matter, but he's just been kind of getting in between his own team of sorts. So speaking of new people, Chase, Alex, Mads, Lucy, Elisha, here, do we like these new additions to the cast? And if you had to choose one of your favorite new cast members, who would they be?
I think that can be answered two ways. One is who do you just like as a person, and then who do you think would be good for the show for entertainment purposes?
Ooh, okay, so we do two?
Those are two different picks. A lot of times those aren't the same person, you know?
Oof.
So I think you need to pick one of each and say which it is.
Okay.
I'll even go first. I'll go first since I thought
Let's
of
go
it.
first. Let me bring up the cast photo.
I'll give you a little bit more time. So my person of who I just like, I think Elisha. I think she's just like a nice, solid person. She's just a nice person. I think, you know what I mean? Who I think should come back, as weird and goofy as he was, I think Chase would actually, because he's so different than the Europeans they usually hire for this show, that it would be he just would be a good different energy that we don't get a lot, and he puts his foot in his mouth and kind of he gives us some of those moments where you're like, oh geez.
You know, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to agree with you. I really like Chase. I think he's an interesting character in this, and I found myself, I don't know if she's good for the show, but I found myself really enjoying Lucy
Yes.
a lot
Okay.
towards the end too. Very, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
That was my I want her back because I think she had these little fun, quippy little lines the entire season. Like she was very consistent. And I think she's pretty self-aware. She can be pretty lazy. I mean, we saw her with her like uni grades and all that. But I think if given a hot guy she's attracted to, she would be real drama and like really fun to continue to watch. But I also really liked Chase. He was kind of annoying at first, but
100%.
so he grew. Yeah, I see the comment here from Marie. He grew on me. He's adorable, and he literally looked in this past episode, looked himself in the mirror, and he was like, "Chase Lee Max, you're a good-looking human." I thought that was adorable. I thought it was so adorable.
I will say Alex and his whole look and Mr. Cool Guy thing. I think though he was just a shell. He was actually kind of a weenie. He became really beta on almost everything he approached. He didn't stand up for himself. When he actually did talk and stuff, there wasn't much there. And he kind of reminds me of some people. Like there's someone that Bailey and I know from the professional world that doesn't talk and gets a lot of credit that people think is smarter because they just don't say a lot. Bailey.
Right.
We're here.
Yeah. And
you know what about Alex though? You know, I feel like he had so many opportunities to, I mean, he didn't want to piss off Gary, so I understand what you're saying about that. But then like every time he had an opportunity to like talk to one of the girls or talk to Mads, he was just like to the point of obliteration where it's just like you couldn't even talk. He was like,
oh my God.
You know, like walking around, and it's kind of, you know what, Gary, Alex is going to be perfect on Winter House. We're going to see him on the upcoming season of Winter House. So
I
this
didn't
will
know
be
that.
very interesting to see what happens on Winter House. And
Natalie, who are your
that
picks?
Goes.
Your two picks.
Well, assuming the core cast stays the same. So
Yeah.
Then I was gonna say Lucy because I think she was just a lot of fun, and you know she's a good cast member for the confessions, like both the confessionals with the producers, but also like people confessing in her of their own lives, and like she gives good reactions and stuff. Maybe she'll get her own little love interest going. I liked her a lot. I liked the clumsiness she brought. That's always a fun watch when people are just like, you know,
It's relatable.
Yeah,
she's relatable to me.
I love it. It's like a rom-com heroine. And so I like her, but someone who also would just be good to lend themselves to the cast again and stir up some drama. Probably Chase. I think he was a fun watch too, but I think like if he like got in the mix more, I think he could be a romantic contender in some future season. Same with Alex.
You know, we have a lot of sailing shows on YouTube. There's a lot like sailing or Delos SV Delos and a lot of various sailing shows, and of course Colin's Parlay Revival, which he's gotten a lot of, you know, promotion for, especially in this season. You see Parlay Revival and everything he's wearing. It is a fantastic YouTube channel. It's linked below, guys. We have Chase, who has just recently bought a sailing boat. He's redoing it down here in South Florida, and he's going to do kind of the same thing. He's a lot of fun to watch. And you see a lot of
Chase on to do publicity for his boat.
There we go. We should talk to him. That'd be a lot of fun. He's very interesting. So yeah, very, very interesting. I like how they kind of all turned on Gary, you know, that they finally realized that he was a little foolish, disrespectful, and obviously jealous in some way, shape, or form of everybody, every man on the boat, whether it was Colin and Daisy or Alex giving just a look at Mads, and he wouldn't let Mads walk 5 feet away without asking her if she was still into him. And it just comes off so insecure and weird.
I think there was a generational aspect to it, because I feel like Chase and Alex are of the like Gen Z era versus Gary and Daisy and Colin are probably like millennial-esque. So I think there's something there where, because there was a scene in the crew mess hall where they were all kind of chatting about what was transpiring with the love triangle, and they were like, these are the most dramatic people we've ever seen. And they were all like, yeah. So the younger people were like, why are the older people being so dramatic about what's
history,
love
though,
entanglement?
Josh was talking about too. But to your point, you're right. It's like a generational thing, but they have so much history that it's like built up to this like bomb.
Yeah. But I think there's something there where Gen Z is like very straightforward and like just tells it like it is. That was Mads the whole way through. And there was that tension in the last scene with Gary where he's like, I wish she would have told me. And the producer's like,
I love
told
it.
you 100 million times. And then spliced in.
Yeah, and then they went roll the tape and they just showed like clip after clip of her being like,
montage.
I'm not into you.
It's just for fun. Yeah.
Her generational communication style. And then Gary being used to people say one thing and I do another and it's all generally worked out okay. That's like millennial style, maybe. I don't know.
I've never even thought of it like that. And I love that explanation because like it's very clear who is a millennial in this cast. All right. Speaking of millennials and plus, let's get back to these guests really quick. All right. Because like when you have questions like what thread count are these sheets? Girl, you don't care when you're throwing up in the damn sink. You know what I mean? Like, let's really be honest. It gives me New Money vibes. All right. I'm just
real quick, because I know some of the people watch. Bravo. I don't need to see poo-poo in the toilet.
No.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
a little much.
I don't need to see throw up. Like, I can see their reactions and I know what's there. I don't need to see it.
It's the mystery. Leave us the mystery of what is in the toilet. We don't need to see
watching last night.
It was like in slow motion.
What's in the toilet?
Yeah.
Yes. We just need to see.
I'm not getting tipped. I'm not getting paid. I don't want to see it. So
100%, Josh. And it was literally like watching it and then it went on for like 5 seconds too long and they kept it. I'm like, am I supposed to be like, is this an item that's inside the toilet that I'm supposed to be looking at? Am I guessing the shape? You know, like what the hell is happening? It was so weird.
Why am I this sicko that was like, yeah, but like how bad is it? And then they showed, but they did show it a little too long. Like I did want to see, and like I'm
Bravo. I'm sorry. I didn't know you had fans like Bailey who like to see it. So I take it back. Leave it on there for Bailey, I guess. Oh my God. I'm going to throw up Bailey.
But the relatability of and that's what I loved about Lucy. It's like, listen, no one makes enough money in the service industry to deal with half the things you deal with, right? Like she was talking about, working in clubs, which I can totally relate to. Like I got punched in the face by a drag queen because I wouldn't let her in because she was drunk. Like it just happens. Like things like this happen, and it's just crazy. But the way these guests, who I had high hopes for, like, again, representing the G, kind of like just the, I don't want to use the word privilege, but like, I can leave my room like this. I can throw up everywhere. I can dump my wine on my bed and someone's got it, someone will take care of it. And Trish, you couldn't have said it any better. Like I was saying, New Money. Money can't buy you class. The famous Luann de Lesseps song. Yeah, thank you, Billy.
I will sing it if you want. later.
All right, so we kind of finished everything. We got a good tip, at least a decent tip, not the best tip, for all the trouble I think the cast went through with these the people in particular.
It was a small tip.
Yeah, it was like
a
piece
compared
of
to others.
tip.
They were averaging like 20s, and this was 17 for all of them.
Yeah, I think we saw 16 at some point this season, if I'm not mistaken, but that was low. 17 is low because it.
Well, they're new money. They're still kind of like counting nickels.
Can I tell you, like, if you're gonna go to a restaurant, someone told me this, a friend, Josh, who too. If you can't go to a restaurant and tip 20%, don't go to a restaurant, even if the service is bad. You know what I mean? So I think here they were ill prepared when it comes to the monetary value of the service they received. Right?
mean, seriously.
Didn't know. I don't think it was intentional. I think they just didn't know, and I think I don't think they had money like they were letting on to.
No.
Also, like some things, like wouldn't you just be embarrassed? Like this is also going to be on camera that you're a fucking animal. Like
right.
throw it from the sink, and you would like, wouldn't you clean this thing? I'd be just mortified if someone came and found my sink like that.
My God.
Or I couldn't flush the damn toilet. Like,
Oh, God, that is such a pet peeve of mine too. It's like, come on, you know, I can't.
So gross.
It's so
Did
gross.
you guys catch that conversation with mom and husband that was calm, the littler guy? And
yes.
he was talking about the prenup.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I was like, this is gonna be on film. Like they're gonna see this, but it seems like they don't give a shit anyway. So I don't know if it matters.
When alcohol's involved, it's just kind of like loose lips, sink ships.
Yeah, 100%. This is how Bravo. This is how it works on Bravo, and this is how it works on Below Deck. This is why we have this show. Yeah. So the guests are gone. I want to finish. Oh my God! Wait. First of all, Lucy, another relatable moment. Who doesn't want to wear clothes? Whores. And I was like, did you catch that comment from her?
No, when was that?
It was at the ABC party, anything but clothes party. And then she's like, God, who doesn't want to wear clothes? And then she said whores. And I was like, you're funny.
So good.
You're funny and we enjoy watching you. Yes, Vicky in the live chat says naked on the side of the boat peeing. How old were these guests? They were all over 40 apparently, and they knew they were being filmed. Oh my God. I can't believe they were just like butt ass naked peeing on the side of that.
Jason,
like, that's trash.
Jason, do you know the difference between an enzyme and a hormone?
I know.
You can't hear an enzyme.
This is what I live with, guys.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You could have heard a pin drop.
Everyone, if you're watching or listening to the show, now you leave with something of value. You can use that.
How cute.
In your life.
I actually feel dumber.
We all were like.
So Marianne Stout in the live chat asked, are we going to get a reunion? We're going to get a 2-part reunion next Tuesday. So next Monday, Below Deck Down Under premieres for season 2 with an all new cast and crew, except Captain Jason and Aisha. But it will be interesting. But it's a 2-part reunion. We might mention it a little bit if you catch it, Josh, before. But I think the reunion might run into the time we start Anchor Watch. So we might not talk about that, but it's going to be a 2-part one, and everyone's talking about it already. You can watch a preview and a trailer of it on Bravo right now. But just to wrap it up, because at the very end of our episodes, our finale, our 16th and 17th episode of Below Deck Sailing Season 4, we did our kind of highs and lows, not a rose and thorn, but highs and lows. And we went around the room and the cast and everyone got to say their piece. But if we could say what the biggest high was and the biggest low was of the season, in your opinion, and comments below if you're watching this on the replay, because we know we got a big replay crew, and in the live chat, what do we think the high and the low was of this season? God, silence.
I know. I mean,
this was a low.
For a pop quiz.
Okay, this was an all like this guy has had everything on his body that you could possibly think of to please the guests. I would never eat sushi off this dirty body, but anyways.
One of my loves was the constant flirtatious banter between Daisy and Gary. I like every time it happened, I was like, stop. Like it was not fun to watch. Exactly. I was like, I wanted to crawl in a hole because they still feel brother and sister to me, and confirming that they have slept together now further gives me the ick.
Even when Daisy's sister was on board, she even called it out. She was like, I've always thought of Daisy and Gary will end up together. I mean, I still think Daisy and Gary will end up together because we know Colin and Daisy aren't together. So who knows?
We know that.
Yeah, they're not together now.
I mean, honestly, they were each
surprising
good for each other in different ways.
Agreed. I agree with that.
It was like, what's Colin doing with her?
Yeah, I
I saw his girlfriends on Instagram or whatever, and then I was like, what's Daisy doing with him? I feel like she's kind of holding out for somebody more stable, mature. Like, they didn't seem like each other's type at all. I don't think Gary
I mean,
and
I feel like, you know, like, well, Daisy and Gary, I mean, I don't know, but Colin and Daisy, to me, it's like, it doesn't, Colin is on his own adventure. He's on his own journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Daisy is going to be back on. Okay.
Colin is Glenn 20 years ago.
She's going to DM me and be like, why the hell are you putting a photo like but
It's a horrible screen grab. Do her better.
Let me see if I have one.
There is one. There's one. I saw one, Jason. You have this one.
Oh, there we go.
Aww.
Yes. This was the very end of the Rose and Thorn.
Very stylish sunglasses.
I think Daisy just needs a new one. She needs someone new completely. We don't need Gary. No Gary.
My goodness.
She needs
Has
a new.
she thought about Glenn? I mean, he's right there.
Glenn is taken. I believe Glenn is now engaged, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Live chat, you guys can
Isn't it one of the Housewives or something, right? Like, didn't he one of the other Bravo shows? I thought he hooked up.
No.
Let's start a rumor.
No. There was. Wasn't there, Jason? Am I?
No,
I think it was like Beverly Hills.
No, Natalie, no. I'm just kidding.
It's too close to home.
No, I don't know who it was. But someone he's been dating, like it's been a girlfriend. I believe they got engaged. I might be mistaken, but live chat.
Yeah, Colin.
You know anything? Let me know.
Damn, you're so right. You're so
That's
right.
fair. I understand. I get that.
I feel like we had that core cast. Like Sam said in the live chat, said a season without Gary, Daisy, and Colin would be sleepy. You know, it'd be exactly.
Yeah.
And I have to agree. I think it's great if we can rotate the rest. However, I wouldn't even mind seeing this same cast with maybe like one or two changed out. Like Elisha, I think, is a great chef. I'd like to see the struggle of chefs a little more, but honestly, I love to see how she delivers too. So she would be great to keep. Alex, you know, he's going to be busy with Winter House, take it or leave it. Chase, we could take it or leave it. But 100%, like bring Lucy and Mads back, and then two new guys who want to compete with Gary for Mads. Like, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would keep Chase. I really would switch out Alex. I thought he was just I could get a new spot. And Elisha, I like her. I think she's cool. But it kind of sucks when someone comes on and they have someone outside the show. Like, it's better when they're single. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I
mean,
right?
Or we saw like in
drama.
Below Deck Med how that didn't work so well between Chef Dave and Natasha, and it was just so annoying to watch.
That was a little wild.
Yeah.
So annoying to watch. All right, guys. So to wrap it up for tonight and this whole season of Below Deck season 4, Below Deck Sailing season 4, really quickly, if we can give a number rating around the room, what would it be?
I'm going to go 9. It only loses a point because of that period, which was going to be my low. That lost a point for me. A whole point. So 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. I like that.
Yeah, you know what? Stacked up against all of the different Below Decks, this is a 9 out of 10 as far as the season goes, I would say. I really do think so. I want to see some numbers in the chat too. We're seeing some other 9s. Bailey, what do you think? I see an 8 here.
I'm thinking 9.5, and the only thing I'd want is another dude that like someone wanted to hook up with. Like Chase, no one wanted to hook up with him, poor Chase. But like Alex was too passive, so I think we just need another guy that's just like ready. Because Mads would have, if there was a more aggressive male in there, and for Lucy too, I think it would. And Daisy, it could have been just crazy. I think we need one more aggressive male figure.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about Mads. Like, why wasn't she more aggressive? She seems perfectly comfortable.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I have to agree with everyone here. So this is like a 9 out of 10. Like this is a season of Below Deck. No matter the franchise, that like every week it's just so easy to turn on and watch. It's fun. It's not like, oh God, like Below Deck Med with Chef Dave and Natasha, and every week Kyle is hurt, and what's the drama? Sandy's gonna back into the bumper dolphin thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then season 10 was a little better for Below Deck because we got like that whole Sandy Lee drama, and Fraser, it was his first time being a chief stew, and that was great and that's fun. But I feel like we had to like have a well-rounded cast, and there's something grittier, like I think I said it before, but a little more gritty about Below Deck sailing,
Well, and the other thing too is like a lot of the other ones, like there are things and people I genuinely don't like about some of the other seasons and other shows. This, even Gary at his worst, he was still good TV. You know what I mean? Like he's
everyone
definitely
did.
like, yeah, and you're like, oh, I would not want that guy around.
Yeah.
We love good
But
TV.
I like him framed in a box and on my wall. You know what I mean? Like he's entertaining. And so, yeah, I think Becklington was 7.5 and giving us a breakdown here. Not so much.
Okay. 3/4 good and a fourth not so much. 7.5. All right.
Okay.
I see that. I see that. I'm excited for Below Deck Down Under season 2. I can't wait. I want to say like my biggest thorn. I just, like I said, I love the cast. We love that core group that we have going. But my biggest thorn is, why are we not ready to sail when it's time to sail? Why does shit fly everywhere every time? They're like, Glenn's like, hey, we're gonna sail, and Alicia's like, the food, and then Daisy's like, not the cabinets, and it's like, is this production value or what is going on? How many years have you been on this damn boat, and you guys can't figure out when you're gonna heal? It's gonna,
Like, isn't there a way to like sailify it? Like, there's got to be like magnets or something on things that like
most of them are, and we've seen some of the cabinets, even the doors, like go together and they
We've
kind of
even
get them
seen
ready. But
stoves, we've seen stoves where the burners are on things, so that way when the oven turns, the pots still stay even.
Wow.
But yeah, is it because Glenn is impulsive about when he's in a sail and just decides like, oh, now is the time, let's go, like, and gives them short warning? I don't know, but that it's definitely annoying because it's like every time it's like just when she's starting to boil noodles or something, and then it's like,
like dinner's fucked now. Thanks. Like, what the hell?
He should know himself at this point where he would give the crew a warning, like, hey, I'm a pretty spontaneous sailor. Like, always keep the cabinets locked.
Like, and like if it's like within these morning hours, I'm going to try for a sail, everyone. So just be prepared from breakfast to lunch. In there, we're going to be aiming and try to sail. That way,
it seems like, it just seems like very inefficient.
You're right. Every time. Or no, I was going to say, is it production just like zooming in on these things? But like everyone's like throwing their hands up.
It's like fine. Yeah. It's like fine. It's like when it heals too much, like production has all this B-roll of like, shit hitting the fan, and they throw the B-roll in every time like Glenn sails and makes it look like it's some like big thing, but it's probably not. I mean, it is Bravo after all. We don't know.
I feel like the chef, she's like constantly working. There's no moment where there's not something on the counter, something on the stove.
Yeah.
So if he's going to be start sailing, something's going to fly in the kitchen. But other areas, I feel like there's more room for like being consistent in closing and locking everything.
Yeah, and most yachts that I've been on, thanks to Captain Sean and stuff, have everything is kind of like in place. Like, I don't know how they keep it in place, if it's like some kind of adhesive or whatever, but most of like the plants that you see are like on the table, like they're there, they're not moving, so if you like hit a bump or whatever, you don't have them like falling over. It's funny to see. It sure is. But yes,
Deborah brings up a really good point. Do you guys think they'll remain on this boat? I'm tired of this whole boat. With all that's breaking down and stuff, I would not mind seeing a new sailing yacht.
I found myself Googling, like, who owns the Parsifal boat? Like, who is this person?
Well, this would be a great question to ask Captain Sean next week, because he has been the captain of the sister boat of Parsifal 3. So we can ask him. But I have to agree with you. I think, we see a couple different renditions of different yachts on Below Deck, like different motor yachts that come on. I think it would be kind of fun to kind of change it up a little bit. I know that Glenn is like the captain for Parsifal, and maybe that's why it kind of, the captain comes with the ship and it's easy to film. Even when they're not filming, he's still captaining that ship. So
yeah, but Bravo's the production company. Surely they can arrange for a different sailing yacht and get Glenn to come, you know,
100%.
It would be nice to see new, because it does get a little old. But then again, we do know the boat, so would it be like not the same seeing the same backstage in the same room?
You and the history.
I don't know.
It's like comfort TV. It's like we know the boat, we know Gary and Glenn and Colin and Daisy, and you take that away, and now it's like homework. I gotta like learn a whole new cast. And like, what's the layout of this boat? Like,
it is true because like in certain rooms, you know when you can hear the next room. You like
Yes.
know.
You're like, they need to shut up. He's right next door. Because
Right. Yeah. Right. Very interesting.
Because like Colin would roll.
Interesting thought. Interesting comment. I wonder if we would. Yeah, it does need an overhaul for sure. It definitely needs a new engine. We know that. So, guys, we're gonna leave it there tonight. We've been on for 50 minutes. Be sure, if you're part of the replay crew, we have 170 in the room. So hit the like button if you haven't done so already. It helps us out tremendously. That can be our big tip of the night. It really does help us out.
Thank you for those of you who hit it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for those who come back and comment. Bailey, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Super fun.
Very like the dynamic changes, the conversation changes when you guys are here. So anytime you guys are always welcome back. We can get the crew back together. Maybe we can even do a couple down unders together. That'd be a lot of fun.
Done.
Josh took it out of Gary's mouth when he said, "Thank you for those of you who hit it."
Yeah.
What a good mic drop.
Yeah, what a good
I stumbled over it in the beginning, but I got there.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys so much. Josh, I guess we'll be seeing you next week.
Yeah, don't sound so disappointed. Josh, I guess we're stuck with you. And
I guess we'll be back.
You're like Gary. No. Yeah, if you guys want to like tweet at me during the week at SeeJoshGo on Twitter, you guys can reach out to me. Jason, what's your grinder profile?
Girl, listen, no, never have I had one, by the way. Never have I ever. I can actually promise you that. But do not thread me or whatever is happening with the threads. I can't do it. I really can't. I've tried.
You know what? I opened a profile. It looked ugly to me. It was ugly.
I never even.
It was weird.
So
we're all talking to each other on different platforms like all the time. It's like, well, let me go over to Threads and continue this conversation. I'm not there yet, so tweet me. We'll do some live tweeting, Josh. We should live tweet, of course, the premiere maybe next week of Below Deck Down Under. That would be fun.
Ooh, or maybe we should live tweet the reunion or something. We'll figure it out. The hard part is the different time zones. That's always it's not as fun because we can't unless we sync up. Although we use Sling to watch, and I think it grabs the East Coast feed. We might be able to like arrange it to where you and I are watching the same time. And
yeah, no, that would be cool. That would be cool. And really quickly, it's not showing. Oh, here it is. Sam, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you, or the super sticker.
Thank you, Sam.
You guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Bailey, Natalie, a big thank you. And we will see you guys all next week.
Nice to see you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.